from me, Romy Stach, and welcome to Derech Eretz, the Way of the World. In today's show, Rabbi Wineberg explores the concept of having a sense of purpose. We spend time with Alice Friedman, CEO of Yad Aharon and Michael, and visit Protea South with Jack Bloom. Our sages tell us that the Torah or Bible is also referred to as light. If our lives are driven by a commitment to divine guidance and a code of morality, we would be free to live a life that is based on higher values and a sense of purpose. Happiness driven by the light of a higher sense of purpose is true joy. Rabbi David Wineberg elaborates further.
Can I ask you a random question? Do you think that you are here by mistake? Do you think that your life is simply a random coming together of molecules? Whether you're a man of faith, a woman of science, belief, religious or not, most of us tend to believe that we are here by design, that we have some sort of purpose to fulfill in this world, that we are here in a specific, ordained sort of environment where we can do something good. Most of us refuse to believe that the world is just random. We believe in an innate sense of justice and fairness. So I want to ask you another question. If you believe that the world holds some purpose, if you were given a gift of $86,140 every day, on one condition that you needed to actually spend it, how do you think you would treat that gift? You would use it, you would spend it, you would appreciate each dollar, and you would make sure to put it to good use, realizing that by the end of the day, there was nothing left. By the end of the day, there was nothing left. Every day we are given roughly 86,140 seconds. We are given the gift of time. It can never be reclaimed. Every day is a gift. The question is, what are you going to do with that gift? How do you use it? If you fall into the lazy pattern of believing that whatever you do is irrelevant, then you are essentially spurning the gift that you were given. But if you recognize that within you is a sense of purpose, that you are here by design and can fulfill something unique, then you will display the Derech Eretz, the respect that each one of us has to have for the great gift of time. Squandering time is one of the greatest sins. A great rabbi once said, "The world says time is money. But I say," said the Chafetz Chaim, one of the great leaders of the previous century, "I say that time is life." There is no greater way to show the Derech Eretz respect than showing respect for the time that we have. Not allowing ourselves to squander it. Respecting the fact that this time will never be reclaimed. This moment is completely unique. And you know what else? You are completely unique. So find within yourself that sense of purpose. Find within yourself that which can drive you so that you can make meaning of your life and a contribution to others. And through it, you will show the Derech Eretz, respecting the time and the opportunities given to you by God.
In chapter 31 of the book of Proverbs, the biblical poem written by King Solomon focuses on the characteristics of the Eshes Chayil, or woman of valor. This is so apt for Alice Friedman, who left a successful career in the business world and has dedicated her life to the physical and emotional well-being of Jewish families in need.
I was actually born in Zaire, in the old Belgian Congo, and we relocated to South Africa when I was 14, and we relocated to Durban, and then I came up to Joburg after I lost both my parents. I'm one of 3 daughters, and my father's passing has had, I believe, a lot to do with the work that I'm involved in today. I actually became religious after he passed away due to the experience that I had. I was extremely close to him, and he passed away very suddenly and unexpectedly of a heart attack in my matric year. Now, following that, I had a near-death experience that was a life-changing experience, as you can imagine. And I went down the tunnel, and my dad was there. And I actually didn't want to come back. I wanted to go to my dad. And lo and behold, I did come back. And I came back a changed person. And I realized that you cannot depend on people because people pass, but you can depend on Hashem. And that's how I became religious. And in my soul, I really believe that the reason I was saved is because I needed to do the work that I'm doing today. I heard about a soup kitchen project in Israel. And this gentleman came to shul after having visited that project. And he gave a talk at shul about that project. And he said, you know, there is a similar project in Johannesburg. It's not a soup kitchen, but it's a food distribution organization called Yad Aharon. And they look for volunteers. And I went and I told her that I'd like to volunteer as a driver and a packer. And then I was a volunteer for 9 years. And as I got more involved and more, it became busier and it took up more and more of my time. That plus the fact that I got to an age where I had to decide, where does Hashem want me to be? And that's where the whole thing with my near-death experience and what I saw and what I realized. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that Yad Aharon is where my purpose lay. And I made a decision to come here, and I haven't looked back. Yad Aharon hand out fresh produce parcels to needy Jewish families brought to our attention. When I took over Yad Aharon, we had less than 80 parcels. And the organization has grown to over 500 parcels now.
I've been here for 2 years, and I'm actually a recipient as well. So I have been collecting a parcel, I think, for the last 15 years. So now I'm actually helping fundraise for the organization, which is amazing because I know what the organization does. I know how they've helped me in my life, and it just gives that extra boost to want to help fundraise for this organization. And you know, you can understand, especially when you're working downstairs at reception and people come in, I can relate so well to when they come in, some of them very emotional. I mean, it's a huge thing not having food. I mean, I don't know if many people realize that, because most people generally have got food, but it's such a big, scary issue is when your children tell you they're hungry and then you think, where am I going to get my next meal from? I actually didn't know where to turn, and somebody mentioned this organization. I mean, I was 10 kilos less than I am now when I first came here, literally starving. I just didn't know where to turn or who to ask. I had no support system. My parents had nothing, you know, so it was such an amazing organization, and thank goodness for this place. That's all I can say. You know, they really just turned our life around.
The core project of Yad Aharon is the fresh produce parcels. That has been for the last 22 years. As the organization grew and we became really the largest and longest established organization in our field. It became apparent to me that there were other needs that our families needed. For example, we needed a soup kitchen. Now that was a huge decision because soup kitchens are associated with really abject poverty. And I can tell you that from the day we started the soup kitchen, there was no shame, there was no, people just came and were so grateful. And the message was, why did you wait so long?
Alice is sweet, she's warm, very calm, willing to help anybody who needs it. Even she can look you in the eye and there can be a million things wrong, but she'll give you the benefit of the doubt and she'll always trust and she'll always give and she'll put herself in a worse position to help others and put them in a better position.
The most important quality, I would say, is that she listens to people. She sits down and she talks, you talk to her and she listens to you and she understands and she's extremely empathetic and she's able to be a very calming ear, so to speak, when you have problems and you have something to discuss, and she makes decisions quickly and she gets stuff done.
I've been working here for over 17 years. I've been with Alice for over 16 years, because she beat me with 1 year, my boss. So I'm distribution manager. I make sure that whatever we receive and send it to our client, like food parcels, people get the right quantities of the food they deserve. It's rewarding. She taught me a lot of things in life that it's outstanding. She taught me to be humble, which I didn't know the meaning of it. Although I know to be humble, it's a good thing, but she taught me more than that, because I realized that doesn't matter of your color, everybody's suffering. Here at Aharon, I learned and I seen that poverty got no boundaries.
There cannot be judgmental people here, because I have seen cases where people were right at the top and they come to collect a food parcel now. So nobody is immune. One cannot look down on the needy. And that is another thing that I've learned through my own experience. You know, Hashem throws you curveballs, and you've got to accept it, that it's for your growth, for your good, even though you don't see it at the time. But looking back now, I can see why I had to go through what I went through. Had it not been my father's passing, I am convinced that something else would have happened in my life to make me go through what I've been through over all these years in order to bring me to the person that I am today.
I've learned from Alice that she has an absolute amazing strength and character, and that is what Aharon is about. Giving unconditionally, giving with love, and giving from the heart, and giving and not expecting anything in return.
Without Derech Eretz, there cannot be humanity. I believe it's the building, it's a cornerstone of relationships, of being a mensch. You cannot excel in life, you cannot progress in life, I believe, without that basic building brick, and that is Derech Eretz. And I believe that in the work that Aharon does, if there is no Derech Eretz, there's no Aharon.
After visiting a devastating fire in a shanty town near Johannesburg, in which 250 people lost all their possessions, Jack Bloom decided to spend time in some of the most neglected areas of the country in order to draw attention to the plight of what he calls the forgotten. This was to become the catalyst that changed the course of Jack Bloom's own life.
So how's things? Your life improved now?
Okay. Yeah.
Much better. You've got toilets now, and I think the house looks a lot better than when I was here. I'm pleased to see the improvement. It actually started about 5 years ago in August 2011. There was a shack fire more in my own constituency in Johannesburg East in the Jeppe area. And I went there on a Sunday evening. It was absolutely desolate. People had lost everything that they'd had. And there was an old man there who'd been living there for 20 years. And I just felt terribly saddened by the whole thing. And I made a resolution that that very night I would stay with them in the ruins of this burnt shack. It all happened in a particular weekend when I suppose I could say I was having a personal crisis of my own. What was I doing? What's my purpose in life? And what should I be doing? And that's when I met Rabbi David Masinta of Chabad. And he put me at ease. He said, you know, you are where God wants you to be. And you know, this is your purpose and you must do what you're doing. And then I also said to myself that I would once a month visit the poorest of the poor, the most neglected parts of Gauteng, and I would stay the night. I wouldn't just arrive and stay the night, I'd spend the whole day touring these neglected places. And I wrote an article at the time called Don't Forget the Forgotten, and that was to me what it was all about. These are forgotten people and they mustn't be forgotten. Maggie, I think it's a wonderful garden that you've got and here as well, and you've got a brick house now. Maggie, nice to see you. I still remember that trip. It was really great, and
yes, I remember.
And I'm pleased that there's been improvements here, and Maggie's life seems to have improved, and will get better, I hope.
One day I received a call from Jack Bloom. He told me that he's going to visit Protea South, so I need to identify a crash, you know. And I start now. I didn't know why I have to identify crash from informal settlements, you know. But to me, I was just thinking that they just want to come and visit the crash. That time, it was not this kind of crash. It was just an ordinary shack like anyone. And you look at the crash, you take photos. We were together, you know, take the children photo, and then after they left.
Hello, Julia.
Hi.
So glad to be back here after all these years. And I've brought a copy of my book for you. Nice picture of you. You remember when we took that 4 years ago? 4 years ago. And look at that horrible shack that we've got.
Yes.
And you've got a magnificent place here. I'm so pleased to be here after all these years.
Wow.
You like it?
So much.
I visited a creche, kiddos' creche. And I saw how people live. They don't have electricity, it's difficult to get water, and sanitation is obviously a problem. And I spent the night here 4 years ago, and it was very memorable. I took some lessons from there, and that was one of 30 nights that I spent in a shack.
I was recognized after Mr. Blom went away because we appear in the Protea Urban News. As you know, Mr. Blom, there was Soweto TV. They also built the shack, the nice shack, because of Mr. Blom was here.
And it got me involved with a whole lot of other projects to replace paraffin stoves, to get solar lights instead of unsafe candles, do what one can to make people's lives easier who live in areas like this. So how did you get this upgraded? So nice compared to before.
You know, I'm working with GEM. GEM is a feeding scheme. They help us with the soft porridge. That soft porridge is so nutritious for kids, and it's built kids to be strong because I didn't afford to buy food. So this GEM, they got the donor partnership with the donors from Switzerland. Those donors they identify me and build that structure here. I'm so happy about that. It's how I got this structure. Before we had a problem with the water, now we had a running water inside our kitchen today, as you see. Before I was fetching the water with the bucket outside the center. Today I'm so pleased I've got the water running inside.
This makes life so much easier.
Yes.
People take it for granted and you have to fight for it, but no, that's a huge help for you, I'm sure.
I've learned so much things from Jack Bloom. I've learned equality leadership, because if you're leading the people truly, you cannot lead a people if you are just sitting in an office and getting some information. You go out to the people and get get their frustration and try to help them. You just practice what he's saying, and of course, I see a much different from him. I say much different. I don't forget Jack Bloom.
When you see how little people have and still make the best of what they have, and people trying to keep families together, trying to keep clean, be presentable, and not giving up hope in very bad circumstances, then you think on your own life, and I think it's the lesson that you learn is actually gratitude, that we must accept what's been given to us, but we must always think of other people, and we must try and uplift everybody.
Before, the shacks was cold. Even when it's raining, there was a leakage. Now we are comfortable. We are so pleased, and the parents are so pleased. I hope now they'll bring their kids, lot of kids here at Kiddos, because it's a secure place, a beautiful place. We'll never keep their kids only to sleep and eat. We want to educate them, to give them a better, because they are the president of tomorrow.
I think Derech Eretz is simple humanity, also putting yourself in the other person's shoes. And I think spending a night in a shack, you experience their lives and you come to appreciate the difficulties that other people's face. And once you experience life as they experience it, and obviously I was only there for one night, so I can't fully experience their life, you want to do something to help. So I think, and I hope that in my own small way, I have tried to help these people, and I hope that I have made some small difference in their lives.
I believe true happiness is not derived from external success and accomplishments, but rather an internal state of mind. To be really happy means to have an inner sense of purpose and fulfillment. We would love for you to join our conversation, so share your thoughts and stories on our Facebook page, Derech Eretz Connect. From me, Romy Stach, and the Derech Eretz team, we wish you a week ahead that is filled with clarity of direction from within and the ability to give meaning to every situation and experience.